Welcome back to more Andrew's movie reviews. I've watched a lot of movies recently and I enjoy making these kind of videos, so we're back. Like I said, I watched Novocaine today and I do have some feelings about this movie. Obviously, that's why I'm fucking making this video. So I guess to start with the overall thoughts, it was cool. It was a cool film. It wasn't anything great. It wasn't bad. It was just cool. It's one of those like gimmicky films where like the movie's just focused on one gimmick, and that gimmick obviously this isn't a spoiler, it's the whole point of the film, but the gimmick is that he can't feel pain, like literally and physically, like his medical condition where he can't feel pain. And like they do the gimmick well. I will say it gets a little old at some points, but they do it creatively enough that it does keep your interest somewhat, not entirely, but somewhat in a good way. But that being said, I want to get this out of the way first. If you don't like bone breakage or like stabbings or impalements, this is not the movie for you. There are some times that like I can handle most things, but like I'm not great with bone snappage and I hate needles because I don't like sharp shit stabbing bodies. So there were some points where I definitely had to close my eyes because I'm not super into that shit. Call me a pussy if you want. But if you hate bone, if you can't handle bone breakage or stuff like that, do not watch this film because it definitely earned its R rating. Let's put it that way, right? But let's put a number on it. Again, I haven't had a movie this year yet past the 8 threshold. This one was definitely a low 7. And if I've watched like what, 5 movies in theaters this year so far, I would definitely put it under Anora and Mickey 17 like I just watched. But I think it was just a little bit better than Captain America and Last Breath. So it's smack dab in the middle. So it was, like I said, low 7. Nothing great, nothing bad. It was a cool time. It was one of those action movies where like the plot doesn't really matter. You're just there for the action, which like I don't hate those kind of movies. Like sometimes I like watching stupid action movies. Like one of my favorite movie series of all time, even though they're all fucking awful, is The Expendables. Like it's just like old. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard of The Expendables, but like the movies suck. They fucking suck. But I like them. They're just fun, dumb action movies. And this one's like slightly better than dumb, but it's one of those like fun action movies, I guess. The thing I do kind of like about this film is like the hero isn't really like a hero, like he isn't like super overpowered. So it's not like John Wick where he like fucking eliminates everybody. It was like just a normal dude who just can't feel pain. And I don't know, in a sense, it was like kind of refreshing, but also fun. It was different. It was a fun kind of different. And then let me talk about the acting real quick. Jack Quaid. I like Jack Quaid. He's cool. I liked him in The Boys. I almost said The Homelanders. The Boys. And like he has like certain energy in this film where like it works really well. Like I was saying about how he's not like a hero, he's just like a guy. He's really good at just being a guy. And there are some certain comedic moments that like he does super fucking well that like it was just entertaining. The other actors were good. I don't know this actor's name. I should, but I forget. The sidekick from Spider-Man. I don't necessarily love him in this movie, mostly because he's being typecasted as the funny sidekick in a lot of movies. I think I've only ever seen him in Spider-Man in this movie. I can't think of another one. I might have, but like he's very much the same character he is in Spider-Man kind of, but like not a kid and like maybe a little less nerdy, but like he still fills the same role. He does a good job of it, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely not anything that's like crazy good. And then the main character lady, again, I don't know her name. She was cool. She was cool too. And everything else was just, it was fine. It was fine. I think Jack Quaid was the star, obviously, because he's the main character, but like everyone else did their roles well. Let's put it that way. Let's move on to the spoilery part. So spoiler alert ahead. Make sure you watch the film. So like I was talking about how Jack Quaid played a really goofy character. Not goofy, but like a very unserious hero character. There are some super funny moments in this film. I think genuinely the interrogation scene was like one of the funniest fucking scenes in a movie I've seen in a long time. The way he's just getting fucking tortured but like doesn't like feel anything, so he tries to fake it. That shit, my entire theater was fucking losing it. That shit was hilarious. I'll admit that was the most fun creative set piece in the fucking film. That was my favorite part. That's probably one of my favorite parts of any movie I've seen this year. But yeah, and like the beginning where like he's just fumbling around. I like how they set up the action set pieces to like play to his narrative and his gimmick of not being able to pain. Like for starters, like the first fight scene. I don't know if it's the first fight scene, but like we're in the kitchen, right? And like you see the gun go into the oil, and like you immediately know at some point he's gonna have to use the oil for something, and he sticks his fucking hand in and shoots him with the fucking greased up gun. It's cool how they use the set pieces for the gimmick, right? And like the big tattoo guy, you know there's gonna be a fight, and you know the giant guy is gonna try to kick his fucking ass. It's a very, I guess also I would also say a very predictable film, but it's not a bad thing that's predictable. It doesn't like hurt the film, because like I said, the plot is secondary. It doesn't really matter. It's just there to like make a story, I guess, which is a weird way to say. Obviously the plot is there to make a story, but it's not like it's not important. Let's put it that way, right? It doesn't fucking matter. What matters is the gimmick and the action. That's what matters in this. Speaking of the plot though, so I don't want to sound like I am very badass, or like, oh, I'm an intelligent being, but like, since I've studied like movie stuff and script writing like that, sometimes I ruin movies for myself, right? So when I was watching the movie and the girl and all that, and I saw her get kidnapped, I saw how the bank stuff goes. In the back of my mind, I was like, I feel like she's in on it. Like, I don't know why, I just think, I'm pretty sure she's in on it. And like, sure enough, 30 minutes later, the big twist of the film is that they're related and she's in on it. But like, also I ruin it for myself again, because I'm like, okay, now I know the resolution of this film is that she's gonna turn around and like choose the hero over her own brother, and like I kind of ruined the film for myself. I know I should just enjoy the fucking film, but like my brain works non-stop, and like I guessed the film. I guessed the plot, and I kind of ruined it for myself. I still enjoyed it, don't get me wrong, but I kind of ruined it for myself. So I don't know if anyone else had that same experience where they kind of like guessed the plot beforehand. And I've done it before with different kind of movies before, so it's not like this is the only movie that I've ever had that before. Another example would be The Creator from I think it was last year. I guess The Creator's plot, but everything was predictable, but it was still used in a good way, if that makes sense. So it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't anything that hurt the film. It just was something I noticed, I guess. One thing I wanted to add on real quick, I don't know where I'm gonna put this, but like I kind of like I don't know if it's a theme or just a message, but it was kind of like when she was showing off her scars, right, during like the sex scene, I guess we can call it, I kind of like the message it was portraying as like everyone feels pain in their own way, which is like, it was kind of like I don't want to say a beautiful message, but it was kind of like a nice way of sprinkling in like a little relatable moment, I guess, if that makes sense. It's like, obviously the main character can't feel pain, but like he feels his own kind of pain, such as the other characters feel their own kind of pain, such as we all feel our own kind of pain. Pain is, I don't say subjective, but like we feel pain in different ways. And I thought it was a good kind of sprinkled message in there. But yeah, moving on. But I loved, like I said, how everything was so super creative. I loved how like they used the environments. I loved like the gore. I like the goriness of it. It's like at the end where he uses his fucking bone to like impale the fucking dude. That was lit. It was fucking gory as shit, but it was lit. I like how he used the fucking heart monitor, the defib machine to like fucking electrocute. I assume the science of that works, where like he shocks himself and uses himself as a current. Was he holding the paddle in his hand, or was he using himself as a fucking current? I think I missed that part. I hope the science holds up on that. But like, yeah, everything was super creative, like I said. But yeah, with the ending wrapped up nicely. I think genuinely I think the two most unbelievable parts of this film, besides the fact that he can't feel pain and he fucking like somehow murdered people and like saved the day and was a hero. Besides that being super unrealistic, but like obviously doesn't matter. But like, I think one of the most unrealistic parts about this film is that he didn't get any fucking prison time for this, for like basically murdering like 3 fucking people. And like he just got house arrest and like 6 months house arrest and 5 years probation. That shit's crazy. But I guess in the joke, they make the white privilege joke, which is funny. But it's unrealistic as fuck. But I think the most unrealistic part about this fucking movie is that this man is not in crippling debt for like literally getting surgery on his entire fucking body. Like, he's in California, and like health insurance is fucking expensive. There's no way this man did not pay like $1 million fucking dollars in medical bills, even with insurance. I don't even know if insurance covers it all. That's the most unrealistic part of this film. Obviously, I'm just taking the piss. That doesn't affect the film at all. I just wanted to bring it up. I thought that was really funny, because I was thinking about it at the end of the movie. I was like, how can he afford this? How does he make enough money to afford the medical bills he has? But that doesn't matter. But yeah, to recap, like I said, this movie's a low 7. It's cool. It's fun and cool, but it's not anything great. And like I said, the plot doesn't really matter. So as long as you go in with like a open mind, I guess. Like a open mind, brain turned off. Like it's a dumb action movie. That's what it is. And like sometimes dumb action movies are fun. I will say though, the movie does take place in San Diego, and as you know me, I love San Diego. And they show a frame or a couple frames of Petco Park, which is where the Padres play. And at some point he says, "Go Padres." So I'm gonna change my low 7 to a perfect 10 out of 10. Anyone who mentions the Padres in a positive sense is a 10 out of 10 movie. Go Padres. No, but it was a low 7. But yeah, like I always say, if it's on Netflix and you need something to watch it. I don't know if I'd go out of my way to watch it in theaters, but if you want, feel free. But yeah, it was cool. Next week, I think we might watch Black Bag, or we might watch Alto Nights. I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna do a little more research on them, because I know it's a bitch move to like research movies before you go watch them, but that's who I am. I don't like watching bad movies. I can't help it. But yeah, I'm still on the search for my first 8 out of 10 movie. I don't think we're gonna get it this next couple of weeks, but we'll see. Thank you for watching as always. Have a great night or day whenever you're watching this. Have a good life.